For those of you who don't know who we are, I assume that there are some of you. Hank runs an environmental technology website called EcoGeek, and I write novels for teenagers. And we, on January 1st, 2007, began a strange experiment using the internet where we decided to make video blogs back and forth to one another every weekday for a year, which is why there are so many people in the audience right now mediating this experience through video cameras. Which is fun. When you guys go home, you'll put it in your computer and realize how much fun you had. So we had such a good time doing this, and people started to watch us, which was a surprise, but it was not a nice surprise. And that community of people who grew out of the video blogs became known as Nerdfighters, because we fight for nerds and nerd culture and intellectualism and books and songs about books and all that stuff. And now we've been doing it for almost 2 years. My new book, Paper Towns, just came out. I hope some of you... Worse yet, that was a library copy. Libraries are really the most remarkable cultural institutions in America, I think. When you think about it, it's very strange and sort of moving that we've come together as a nation, and we have decided that we will build these spaces, that we will all sacrifice a little bit of money that would otherwise be ours, and we will build these spaces that will be available to anyone to share knowledge, to learn how to read, to access the internet, to do all kinds of things that might not be easy for us or convenient for us otherwise, or even in some cases possible for us. I find it very moving that we've come together to decide to do this, and that we value knowledge and thoughtfulness and intellectual pursuit enough to make that sacrifice so that spaces like this can be possible, where we can have wonderful gatherings like this to talk about books and other nerdy stuff, but also so that people can come in every single day of the week, except in some cases Sunday. I don't know about here. Yeah, except Sunday. Where there are other buildings that are open, and we can learn from all of these books here, and many of them we can take home with us, which is like this. It's ridiculous when you think about it, that you can just walk in here and take a book and they won't get mad at you as long as you bring it back on time. So I'm just. Public libraries are sort of my favorite thing about America, and they speak so much, I think, about our liberty and our commitment to truly equal opportunity in this country, and to what has so long been called the American dream. We always have believed that homemade Nerdfighter t-shirts are the best, and I continue to believe that. Hank and I are both wearing homemade Nerdfighter t-shirts that people gave us. Mine says, "Dang it, cows, I'm so bad at cows." There's a reference to, on this trip, we've been spending about 10 hours a day in a minivan, and we play this game called Cows, which is where the first person who sees a group of more than one cow says, "Cows," and then you win. For a game that is so exceptionally simple, I am amazingly bad at it. And I've only successfully gotten cows like 3 times. The only time I really won was from the trip from Indianapolis to Louisville. Hank and Catherine were both asleep. And even though they were asleep, the rule is you have to say cows out loud for it to count. But I didn't want to wake them up, because that would have ruined my streak, because I know I'm worse at it than they are, so I would just be like, "Cows." I did pretty good when I could just say cows. But other than that, I've been terrible. So someone made me this shirt. Yesterday I got this shirt, and I love it. And Hank's shirt says, it's a little post-it note that says, don't forget to be awesome, which is one of the Nerdfighter slogans. And then lastly, those of you who are Nerdfighters and who have watched a lot of our videos may know of a young man named Sean Ahmed who was a grad student at Notre Dame who decided to go to Bangladesh to address world poverty using $250 that he had saved up to buy an Xbox 360, which turned out to be an astoundingly good investment, because while $250 will only buy one Xbox 360, it will buy a lot of treated mosquito nets and a lot of tuition for young kids who would otherwise have to drop out of school to work to continue their education. And when we met Sean, he sent me a Facebook friend request. That's how I met him. He sent me a Facebook friend request that said, "I think I'm the only nerd fighter in Bangladesh," which piqued my interest because he is. Actually, he isn't. He was before we made this big connection that we've made. So I started talking to Sean, and he told me about what he was doing. That he was just basically using money that was from his mom's friends. But he was getting it to go astoundingly far because he's not a charitable organization and doesn't have any kind of bureaucracy and just, used 100% of the money. And so not as any kind of charity, but just to do it, we all gave Sean a bunch of money, and we got to physically see through the magic of YouTube where it went, who it went to, what it bought, the text. We got to see the school books that it bought. We got to meet the kids who got to go to school because of it. Hank sponsored a family. And got to, through YouTube, got to kind of know the kid who he's sponsoring, and the kid, this is our hand signal. And I mean, when you see this little he's gonna start crying now, this little 8-year-old Bangladeshi kid doing this at the end of Sean's video, I mean, yeah. It's sort of the magic of the internet that we can connect to other people and see them not just as posters, not just as posters of starving kids, but see them as complex individuals who have lives that are just as interesting and diverse as our own, who have birthdays, who have great days, for whom poverty is obviously a terrible struggle, but not the only thing that's happening to them. So Sean actually flew to Plano, Texas for the beginning of the Nerdfighter tour on Sunday, and we got to meet him in real life, which is awesome, just like it's awesome to meet all of you in real life. And what he did was he announced that we are going to be raising money for Save the Children Bangladesh, the organization that he's now started to work with because they have all the resources that he needs to get around the country throughout the tour. So we're raising money for Save the Children Bangladesh. There's a polka dotted bag that will be near the Catherine, near the CDs and the t-shirts. Catherine is Hank's wife. Explanation. Okay. Near the CDs and t-shirts. Please feel free to donate money. It will go directly to Save the Children in Bangladesh, and we can actually have a say in how that money is spent. Sean has put up a YouTube video where we get to, one of the difficult things about philanthropy is that you have to make tough choices. No matter how many resources you have, you still have to make difficult choices between things that are desperately needed. So we have to make these choices as a community. Where do we want our money to go? Do we want it to go to pond sand filters that will allow for clean water for an entire village, or do we want it to go to kids who are graduating from high school and need $10 to take their A-levels that will get them into university? Do we want it to go to fighting malaria or to fighting waterborne diseases? There's all kinds of, Sean has 6 or 7 things that we could devote our resources to. We pick our priorities, and then we get to see those priorities being implemented. So it's pretty awesome. Polka dot bag.